and in some instances they were met with violent crackdowns. Across the country, video
Some instances, try most instances. Like, anybody that's been to a protest knows, like, okay, so the PSL, Green Party, liberal, like, march through the streets behind the police escort with the police permit shit, they love that. Okay, that's overtime for them. But, like, as soon as the younger, more lumpen proletarian, unemployed, working class, what have you, elements take over, that's when they start doing shit like this. So I would even venture so far as to say, like, if you're at a protest and the cops are like shaking everybody's hands and the cops are like letting you be there and you haven't forced them to let you be there, that's a lame ass protest. Like, it's not a protest, it's a fucking parade. Like, every time riot season starts, yes, we do have a riot season in this country. Every time riot season starts, like, this same lame ass, white ass discourse starts. So, well, we can't be violent. We aren't violent. Yes, the fuck we are. Yes, the fuck we are violent. Like, that's the only way that change has ever been made, through the selective application of revolutionary violence. That's the only way that change can be made. Like, we've been asking these people, we've been petitioning these people, we've been begging these people for reprieve, for reparations, for all types of shit for years. For years, okay? No, not just years, decades, centuries. And nothing has changed. The only way that we're going to get, as working class people, as oppressed minorities, as queer people, the only way that we're going to get what we are entitled to is through violence. I'm sorry. Am I saying go out and do fucking stupid terroristic shit? No. You're going to die. You're going to die horribly. And the movement will not be any better off for you dying. But get it out of your head that there is such a thing as non-violent revolutionary change. Like, revolution is literally defined as the violent overthrow of one class by another. You see these guys over here, these guys work for the rich. These guys work for the people that have made your life a living hell. They're going to bash your face in with that fucking shield. They're going to pepper spray you. They're going to use skunk spray on you. They might even shoot and kill you. Like, look at Comrade Aaron Bushnell. Like, they had guns on this guy while he was literally burning to death. These people, these cops, these rich people, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They literally make a living off of exploiting you. Bricks don't throw themselves. Exactly. If I had $5 to give you, I'd give it to you.
videos of police officers attacking peaceful protesters began surfacing on social media. Using tear gas, rubber...
Also note that, like, even if you are peaceful, they're still going to attack you. Like, these people, a lot of these people become cops just so that they can beat the shit out of people.
Tipped bullets.
Like, these are sadists. Sadists. These people get sexually aroused by the thought of smashing in some fucking 19-year-old kid's head with their baton, or turning their face into a red ruin with the fucking shield. These people don't give a fuck. They don't care. So you shouldn't care either.
Bicycles and batons. Police officers deployed an arsenal of so-called less-than-lethal weapons to suppress...
Also, there's no such thing as a less-than-lethal weapon. The very definition of a weapon is a device, an item that can kill somebody. Like, you can kill somebody with a pencil. If the police want to kill you with those rubber bullets, which are not rubber, they're literally hard steel encased in a thin layer of rubber. They were literally developed by the Brits to use in Ulster, Northern Ireland, so that they could break Irish kids' legs. Okay, they are not less than lethal if one of those things hits you in the face or in the throat or in any other soft part of your body. They can literally kill you. Those batons, if they have training that can like literally teach them how to kill you. Yes, a lot of the time these people were bullies in school. They get off on picking on people who are seen as being weaker than themselves. That's why it is our job as communist revolutionaries, as working class people, to be stronger than them so that we are not easily bullied.
Protest and disperse crowds. But what happens when police unleash these weapons and leave people no path to escape?
Yo, nigga corralling us. Where the fuck are we gonna?
You can break a kettle with a, hold on. It's called a wedge formation. Do some Google Jitsu here. How to break the kettle, an illustrated scientific guide. So when they when they kettle you, like they're basically trying to contain you so that they can arrest all of you, so that they can have like a flying team. I talked about the crossbow tactic that they used in LA, but move this back a little bit. But you can actually break this. It's basic tactics. So like what a lot of people do is they all try to charge through, and these people are reinforced so heavy they're usually rolling like 2 or 3 lines deep. That's not going to work. This isn't going to work either. This is what works. You form up, you form a wedge, okay, like this. Whoop, and you go through and you target the weak points. So an officer maybe like, I don't know, not look so good. They may be smaller. You gang up, you form your wedge, and you basically force your way through the line at that weak officer. Et voila. Am I saying that that's going to work 100% of the time? No, because the cops study tactics too, but it's just something to keep in your mind.
Where do we go?
In at least a dozen instances last summer, caught on video in cities like New York, Los Angeles, Portland, Chicago, and Seattle.
Where the fuck they want us to go?
Police used a
To jail, that's where the fuck they want you to go.
controversial crowd control strategy, known to protesters and civil rights advocates as kettling. The tactic consists of officers surrounding protesters, trapping them in the streets with no clear way out, sometimes for hours, often before tear gassing, beating, and arresting them en masse. Law enforcement officials usually refer to this tactic as corralling, containment, or encirclement, not kettling.
Note how they use terms that are used to refer to either animals or military opposition to refer to generally nonviolent protesters.
And some police departments have denied that they deploy this tactic at all.
It's the first time I'm hearing about kettling being associated with the police. It is not part of our training. It's not something we practice or encourage.
According to a New York police training manual obtained by The Intercept, this crowd control technique is designed to isolate a group of people from a larger crowd for the purpose of making arrests. But in practice, this strategy indiscriminately subjects everyone in a crowd to the same treatment, regardless of individual conduct. Often, once people are surrounded, they are subjected to violence that they have no means of escaping. One particularly brutal example of kettling took place last year in Charlotte, North Carolina, where law enforcement officers trapped hundreds of protesters between buildings and lines of cops before assaulting them with pepper balls, flashbang grenades, and tear gas.
It is something similar to this in St. Louis in 2017.
The following is a reconstruction, produced in collaboration with Situ Research, that places video evidence in the context of a 3D digital model of the urban environment to gain a better understanding of the sequence of events that transpired that evening. On the evening...
So this is from St. Louis. This was in 2017 when there was basically a low-key mass uprising against the failure to enact legal justice against a police officer who murdered a black man. The guy's name was Jason Stockley. Well, the pig's name was Jason Stockley. And if I recall correctly, he was run out of town. But this just shows how, like, they work from a ground level. You just listened to my second appearance on Rev Left. A good discussion. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, tear gas is literally banned by the Geneva Convention for use in war, yet cops use it all the time. They use it more than they use water.
That's my car right here. My car's right there.
Also, during the same kettle, they had a black undercover officer, Luther something. I can't remember his last name. I don't remember pigs' names. But they literally ganged up on and they beat the fuck out of one of their own officers. A bunch of white dudes beat the shit out of a black officer because they saw black protester. Yeah, get him. Not the smartest people. And this wasn't just protesters that they got. Like, they just literally just forced people that were walking down the street. Like, this was Wash Avenue, okay? Washington Avenue. So it's a big entertainment district. Like, they beat the shit out of an active duty Air Force officer. Fucking kids and strollers, pregnant women. They didn't give a fuck. Everybody got their ass beat that night. Thank you for visiting the Washington Avenue Entertainment District and neighborhood. And the funny thing is, well, not funny, the sickening thing is, like, after they had gotten everybody off the street, after they had arrested everybody, they, like, took a picture in front of that. Well, first they chanted, "Whose streets are streets?" A very common and very stupid protest chant. And then they took a picture in front of this sign. Like, acting like they were fucking big game hunters that brought down a 50-ton elephant or something.
I'm trying to get the dogs. You want to get your dog back here, Ron? Hollywood!
That's them beating their batons on the ground or on their shields, one. Basically to make noise and intimidate people. This was the most excitement they've ever had in their miserable little lives.
Keep walking. I got Frank.
They said taxpayers protect us. Like, these people know that your tax money funds them. They don't care, okay? Like, these are modern day bandits. That's all these people are. And another thing they do in St. Louis a lot is they, like, form walls out of their bikes. So they have the bike cops come and they form walls out of their bikes. And, yeah, they'll even bash you and knock you down with those things. So she's coughing because they pepper sprayed everybody.
Breathe. Hey, man, watch out.
He's pushing us.
Why are you grabbing her?
So he asks, "Why are you grabbing her?" And then the cop responds by grabbing him too. Yep. Welcome to America. Mike Lee unveils legislation that would force the United States to leave the UN.
On June 5th, the Washington, D.C. mayor unveiled a statement painted down the street leading to the White House. Black Lives Matter.
Mr. President.
So this is a Republican from Utah, Mitt Romney's colleague. And he wants the U.S. to leave the UN and the World Health Organization. So the UN is already enough of a U.S. puppet, but I guess for Senator Lee, it needs to be more of a U.S. puppet. This guy's like Israel. Like, Israel is allowed to literally get away with murder. And just because Biden is like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be, like, killing our citizens. And they're like, oh my God, you're anti-Semitic. Well, why do you hate Jewish people? What is wrong with you? It's like mass psychosis. And like settlers, all settlers have this psychosis. They have this mental illness, this sickness, that when you get the slightest pushback after doing egregiously horrible things, it's a problem. Like, you want people to kiss your ass and worship you no matter what you do. That's not how the real world works.
The senior senator from Utah. Mr. President, in the words of a Simon and Garfunkel song.
Oh, he's quoting a Simon and Garfunkel song. I actually like Simon and Garfunkel. You should keep Simon and Garfunkel out of your mouth, Mike Lee. Also, this is like the most NPC-ass name. Mike Lee, Jim Jones. Why do evil people have like NPC names like that?
They sing of a dream in which the world had all agreed to bring an end to war. And they reached this agreement apparently just by signing a single piece of paper. This dream is just a dream, of course. That's not how things...
Why do you have the Nixon hairline? Like, why don't you just shave your hair off like I do? Like, it's not going to grow back, bro. No matter how much finasteride you use, no matter what you do to yourself, no matter how you torture your poor barber, your hair is never going to be what it was. Just shave it off. Well, actually don't, because like white people do not look good with shaved heads. Like black people, we're hot as fuck with shaved heads. But this guy, yeah, he needs to keep that little stubble, I guess. Bad advice.
Are brought about. That's not how lasting peace occurs.
The fuck does this dude? It reminds me of something that Malcolm X says. Like, what the fuck does LBJ, a Southern cracker, know about a great society? He can't even build a great society in Texas. Now he's going to build a great society in the United States. What the fuck does this war pig, this sitting United States senator, and so saying sitting United States senator is basically saying war criminal. Like the two are the same. Okay? Even if you didn't personally commit war crimes, even if you didn't go to Vietnam like John Kerry did. And you know, like John Kerry actually has a bit of movement cred. Like he worked with Vietnam veterans against the war. And he outed a lot of shit that went on over there. Of course, it didn't stop him from becoming a pig later in his life. But like, what the fuck do these pigs know about a lasting peace? Your entire existence as a human being on this earth has been to sow war and misery and discord. Like Malcolm X said in that Spike Lee movie, everywhere the white man goes, he's created destruction, he's created chaos, he's created war, he's created famine, he's created pestilence and plague. So now for this cracker to get up in the United States Senate and talk about a lasting peace, like, I'm surprised he hasn't burst into flames.
Dream echoes the stated aspirations that led to the creation and eventually the perpetuation of the United Nations. But as history unfolded, the stark reality has not lived up to those lofty aspirations. We've witnessed failure upon failure, and yet
caused in major part by the United States. The United States is the #1 obstacle to world peace.
20th century notion of a collective world peace still lingers in the minds of the American foreign policy establishment. It's a notion that believes that somehow U.S. participation and leadership within the United Nations is a foundational pillar of our security and our strength. A glance at the world today, however, reveals the harsh truth. Enduring global peace remains just a dream. While the corridors of the United Nations were designed for diplomacy, it now serves as a place where America's adversaries, people who trample on diplomatic principles and even human dignity itself.
America tramples on diplomatic principles and human dignity every fucking second of every day. Pot, meet Kettle.
Of June 2nd, 2020, several hundred protesters were marching in downtown Charlotte, moving northwest on 4th Street. At 9:26 p.m., the crowd passed a group of police officers in riot gear positioned along the march route.
Rory's got a platoon on Tryon, out of sight. Dancer's platoon stage now on College, out of sight. We're going to push their ass straight up 4th. As soon as they get up on 4th, because we got a bottleneck now, Rory's squad is going to step out and hammer their ass.
This is the most excitement this guy's had all fucking year. Like I said at the beginning, like these people get off of this shit. Like these people come to this shit. This is what they enjoy. They get sexually aroused by the thought of smashing in your fucking head.
When they start running down, Dancer squad is going to step up and hammer their ass. Gas. We're going to fucking pop it up. All right. Get a bang out. Don't throw it in front of them. I want it behind. Hey, if you have to throw it, don't throw it behind the crowd so they run up.
It's important to watch stuff like this because it shows like how they meticulously plan and develop tactics and strategies to interfere with what is supposed to be an American constitutionally protected right. This is some dystopian shit. This is why, like, I really don't have time for people who think that America can be salvaged or something. Like, these people are literally strategically discussing tactics to create chaos amongst a relatively peaceful crowd. Like, throw a flashbang behind people. Like, this was in 2020, okay? So this was when you had alt-right people. You had the Boogaloo Boys. You had fucking Adam Waffen. All sorts of crazy motherfuckers who were willing to show up to protests and kill people. Like, remember Heather Heyer? Remember what happened at Charlottesville? Like, these people are not coming to fucking play. So, yeah, you throw a flashbang amongst a crowd of people, you're going to create a stampede. People are going to be getting hurt, and the cops are just going to stand by and laugh and take advantage of the chaos to get in their own little sadistic licks.
Hey, wave goodbye. They're all about to get gassed.
Wave goodbye. They're all about to get gassed. You know what other group of people really, really loved gassing people?
It was the fifth day of protests in the city, and earlier that evening, someone in the crowd had thrown bottles toward the officers, according to statements later made by police. But when protesters reached the corner of 4th and College Streets at 9:29 p.m., the march was calm and peaceful. As the protesters kept walking, it became clear that CMPD had blocked all exit points along the block.
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Suddenly, at 9:30, officers positioned out of sight at the top of the block on Tryon Street ran out to close.
I think these assholes will eventually use white phosphorus. I mean, America's a giant. It's a crippled, dying, bloated, drunken giant that's blind in both of its eyes. So what does a maimed giant do before it dies? It lashes out and knocks down buildings. It steps on people. It destroys whole villages in its wrath. So America was born in blood. It's definitely going to drown in blood. And part of drowning in blood involves using white phosphorus on American citizens. I mean, it's used white phosphorus on civilians in other places, and the ruling class doesn't consider working class people to be any more than numbers in a fucking ledger anyways, and it doesn't consider black people or migrant workers or anybody else that isn't worth at least $500 million to be humans. So, yeah. Will they use white phosphorus on us? Of course they fucking will, if they feel a threat. Like, here we have cops that are literally hiding. I thought police were supposed to be public servants. What the fuck are public servants doing dressing up like Ninja Turtles and hiding in the cuts to ambush peaceful protesters?
Was off 4th Street and immediately started firing tear gas and flashbang devices directly at the advancing crowd.
Okay. No.
State investigators said that police issued a warning, but witnesses we spoke to said they did not hear one.
Because they didn't issue
Justin
one.
LaFrancois, a local journalist who was live streaming the protest, describes the scene.
Nobody ever gave a dispersal order or said where people were supposed to leave or exit.
As they blocked off all the exits, they came out to kick ass.
As people ran back, the officers at the southeast end of the block deployed tear gas into the fleeing crowd.
They closed the whole group in between a line of riot officers and a wall of tear gas.
The gas formed a thick wall of smoke that stretched across 4th Street.
We're trapped. They're shooting pepper balls at us. They've thrown out tear gas, flashbangs, smoke. They just chased everybody down this way. There's a line of riot police up there. There's a line of riot police back there.
As police closed in, people began screaming and gas.
So this is how riots start. Like, you ever heard of a police riot? It's a riot that the police literally start. Because no human being, never mind an animal, is just going to sit back and allow people to use chemical weapons on them or beat them or shoot things at them. Okay? So that's how riots start. So you're fucking gasping for air. Of course you're going to bust out a fucking window. Of course you're going to bust out a fucking car window. Of course you're going to set some shit on fire. You're pissed. The police pissed you off. The police hurt you. hurt people lash out.
Gasping for air. Those on the sides of the crowd were the first to be hit with tear gas and other police weapons, while those in the middle were getting trampled by other panicked protesters. A third group of officers, positioned on the second floor of a parking garage, directly above the crowd, started shooting pepper balls at the protesters.
So you're sniping American taxpayers, American citizens. You know what? Fuck this American shit. You're sniping other human beings with chemical weapons. Like, again, I thought the police were public servants. That's what we're taught in civics class. Of course, I'm black and know it's bullshit, but, like, it's shit like this that gets a lot of white people hip to what's going on. Because there's nothing like getting tear gassed and pepper sprayed to, like, make some lessons soak in. Like, I could tell you to read George Jackson until I'm red in the face, but this shit, like, keys you in to what exactly he was talking about. It's one thing to read about something. It's one thing to read Fanon and Jackson and all these other theoreticians and revolutionaries. It's another thing to see this shit and be it going through this shit.
Justin Mackerlane, a photographer who was caught in the Kettle, describes the chaos.
Not only were we getting hit from both sides, we were getting hit from the top as well.
Officials later said that the officers positioned in the garage had only been shooting at the walls above the crowd.
Again, why would you do that? What is the purpose for that? What is the strategic or tactical purpose of doing that besides fucking creating chaos so that you can justify your overtime?
But local journalist LaFrancois said he saw people get hit in the face, neck, and shoulders. Charlotte officials have denied that what the police had staged was a kettle at all, with the city council member, Ed Driggs, at one point blaming the wind, which he said created the sensation of being in a kettle.
Does this guy think we're as stupid as he is?
Investigators concluded that 2 exit points had remained open for people to disperse. But the streets were so filled with tear gas that those who were there said it was impossible to know that there wasn't a line of officers behind the smoke, and that in order to leave, they would have had to run through a thick cloud of choking gas. Christy Puckett Williams, an organizer with the ACLU who was trapped in the Kettle, described protesters having to make panicked decisions about their safest way out.
You shouldn't have to be placed in a position where you have to make those split-second decisions about how do I get oxygen in the midst of all this tear gas? How do I get to a safe place where I'm not getting shot with pepper bullets?
Welcome to riot season. Let's see what's going on Twitter. Third Wave ska bands had the album art game on lock. Look at this. It's like old school GTA art. Launch of the Revolutionary Communist Party. Okay, I'm a Maoist. We were doing this shit in 2016. Like, this is nothing new. Like, the Trots have literally ripped off our whole aesthetic and are now using it for their own nefarious purposes. Ridiculous photo. This looks like they handed 30 white people in an Urban Outfitters some red flags and told them to march. I mean, white people are good at following orders, so. Students from schools across the St. Louis region were unexpectedly exposed to an uninvited performance in the parking lot by a rapper, that rapper being Sexy Red. She of the notorious wretchedness. Honestly, Sexy Red is like if you take all of proletarian, lumpen proletarian, gutter-ass St. Louis and put it into one person. We also share concerns regarding the inappropriateness of the impromptu music and performance for our teens. Okay, so do you all act like do you all think that teenagers are not listening to Sexy Red on their own? Like, most of them were probably glad to see her. It's this whole Victorian moral shit. Yes, her songs are raunchy as hell. Yes, her songs are about fucking... Like, literally, about fucking, okay? Okay, so? Who cares? If the kids want to see that shit, that's fucking fine. As long as they're not being molested or any of that other gross shit, who fucking cares? Better Family Life, which hosted the rally, said Sexy Red was never invited to make a special appearance. Like, I have less of an issue with Sexy Red's music than I do her politics. She's a big Trump supporter. I don't, yeah. The organization went on to say they never thought she was a suitable match for the rally. Who the fuck are you going to invite? The fucking Isley brothers? The fucking, I start to say Stokely Carmichael. Smokey Robinson, Mock, Shirley Caesar. Like, this is what kids listen to. Who cares? French illustration, July 1926, showing Bolsheviks executing the Romanov family in 1918. Let's run it back. And all the right-wingers are like, oh my God, look at what they did to these good Christian people. Like, do you have any idea how Russia was, how fucked up Russia was under the Tsar? You had literal pogroms. Dudes would literally just get whips and those big-ass Ushanka hats they like to wear, hop on horses and be like, well, let's go take out some fucking Jews. Like, that was their hobby. That was their sport. Nate has a crush on Sexy Red. Okay. They want to gentrify Gaza and turn it over to Dubai and the Americans. This is what this billionaire thinks the solution in Gaza is. Step 1, give Gazan residents something to look forward to. Without hope, there is only despair, anger, and violence. Okay, question. Who is the number one stealer of the hopes of the people of Gaza? Israel. Hope comes from Israel's and the United States' commitment that once Hamas is destroyed, Hamas is never going to be destroyed because you keep making new Hamas. Israel and the U.S. will support the creation of New Gaza. Jesus, that's not dystopian at all. Let's just take the place that we've razed to the ground and put new in front of the name. Subject to some security commitments from the U.S. and Gulf states. So when these people start talking about security commitments, they basically mean that we can fill up Gaza full of mercenaries. New Gaza is completely rebuilt with modern infrastructure, sustainable energy, and clean water. It can have all of these things. Israel doesn't even allow these people to fish in their own waters. Like, if a Gazan literally hops in a boat and decides to fish the very rich Mediterranean Sea, they get shot at. They get blown out of the fucking water. World-class architecture. Gaza has some of the oldest architecture on Earth. You know what's happening? It's being destroyed by Israel. Centuries. Millennia-old Christian churches being blown to bits. Technology, healthcare, education, favorable taxation, thoughtfully designed business creation incentives, and world-class resorts on the Mediterranean. So basically, you want to drive away all of the people who already live there so that you can gentrify it and hand it over to Dubai and to American venture capitalists. The design of New Gaza begins immediately with a global competition where master planners, architects, technologists form consortiums to compete for large financial awards and the opportunity to build a new city from the blank sheet of paper. Economic and tax incentives are designed to encourage foreign private investment, so private sector investors have a vested long-term interest in Gaza, and businesses are incentivized to locate in Gaza. So they're just open with this shit. We're going to destroy this whole fucking culture, this whole fucking city. We're going to kill everybody that already lives there or drive them and scatter them to the four winds so that multimillionaires and billionaires and hundreds of millionaires can just come and take it over and turn it into fucking Las Vegas on the Mediterranean. Step 2, civilians in Rafah are moved to a refugee camp, safe zone built in the Negev desert adjoining Gaza. So yeah, let's just make all of the civilians go live in the fucking desert so that we can build our playground. Let's build Dubai Part 2. Step 3, IDF destroys Hamas. Not going to happen. Step 4, the reconstruction of Gaza begins. Yes, Gaza does need to be reconstructed by and for the Palestinian people. Step 5, civilians return as the city is rebuilt. How the fuck is this guy a billionaire? How the fuck is this guy a billionaire? I should be a billionaire. I'm smarter than this guy. I'm also not evil. Maybe that's why I'm not a billionaire. Wikipedia finally admits Palestine won the Battle of Beit Hanun. They're winning the war. They killed 14 occupiers today, if I recall correctly. I love Derek Guy. That's not his real name. I think he's Asian. But he will literally, like, when you piss him off, or just to get engaged or whatever, like, he will literally read you for filth. He will literally like destroy your notion. You think you put that shit on? He will tell you and demonstrate why you did not put that shit on. So here he is. This guy literally calls himself Bane the Aristocrat, and he will literally quote retweet you. And like he's explaining like sartorially why this guy does not dress like an aristocrat. Like British aristocrats, they have their shit tailor-made. They don't go shopping at they don't go shopping. They make an appointment with their tailor who will fit them in because they're the Duke of Chucklefuck or whatever. And they have their shit custom made for them. They call it bespoke. But they have their shit made. Like, you think this is well dressed? This is what they lay around the house in. This is what they lay around the house in. This is what they wear grouse hunting. No brown in town. No, that's not saying that we don't want migrants in our cities. That's saying that you don't wear brown clothes when you're conducting business in the city. Like, there's so many old rules that these people follow. Of course, most of them should have ended on the guillotine, but I like their clothes. I can't afford their clothes, but I like their clothes. Peaceful protester wearing a pretend suicide vest. Oh my, come off of it. These are road flares. These are road flares. How is this? You've never seen a suicide vest. Dumb motherfuckers. Also, people are making a big deal about Jackson Hinkle being allowed to rant to an audience in Yemen. Of course, he didn't take his cowardly ass over there, but like Hinkle and Haas and all these fucking weirdos, like they're affiliated with the LaRouche movement. Okay, I did a video on them a few months back, and the Schiller Institute. That's where all this MAGACom bullshit is coming from. It's literally a LaRouche fucking plant. These people are like, how the fuck is Hinkle so big on Twitter? Because he buys bots. His handlers buy bots. That's why. Why the fuck do you think Israel is retweeting this guy? Because he makes us look bad. And dumb motherfuckers be like, oh, well, at least he's talking about... Bro, Palestinians have been talking about Palestine. Why are you platforming and continuing to feed this fucking wasp who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about? He's a knockoff Tucker Carlson, and you all know you don't have to give these people anything. You don't have to give these people anything. Okay? Zelensky is fucked. He's been like, more money, still losing his fucking war. They're about to put him in a fucking pack. He's about to join these guys. That's what American imperialism does. It uses you and uses you and uses you. And then when it's done with you, like, do you really think that America cares about the well-being of Zelensky? It doesn't. It doesn't care. It doesn't even care about the well-being of its own fucking citizens. What the fuck makes you think it cares about the well-being of the president of Ukraine, or the Ukrainian people? Y'all are tools. Y'all could have asked the fucking Kurds how this was going to end.
Dan Zakrzewski, Outkick coach, you just talked about, what a massive weekend this.
This is how you deal with fucked up reporters that like asking you stupid questions, by the way.
This is obviously for women's basketball, women's sports in general. One of the major issues facing women's sports right now is the discussion topic about the inclusion of transgender athletes, biological males in.
Okay, if you know anything about black people, you could already tell that this lady is about to read this dude, okay? You can already tell. Like, it's just the fucking body language. I was raised in major part by black women, okay? Like, I would have shut my fucking mouth as soon as she started doing that.
Women's sports. I was wondering if you would tell me your position on that issue.
She taking a sip of her drink. She finna curse your ass out. That's what's finna happen.
Damn, you got deep on me, didn't you? I'm under the, the opinion of, I'm under 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 the opinion of If you're a woman, you should play. If you consider yourself a woman and you want to play sports or vice versa, you should be able to play.
Deftly done.
That's my opinion. You want me to go deeper?
Do you think transgender women should be able to participate
That's your question
in
you
college
want
basketball?
me to ask. I mean, you want to ask, so I'll give you that. Yes. So now the barnstorm of people are going to flood my timeline and be a distraction to me on one of the biggest days of our game. And I'm okay with that. I really am.
Deftly done. She should be the White House press secretary. Blood covers the street in Tel Aviv after a car drives over protesters, injuring 5. It's interesting how America and Israel are always learning from each other. Jesus, is that an Israeli car horn? Another reason why that shithole needs to be destroyed. Or is it an air horn that the protesters are using? That entire fucking country is mentally ill, I'm sorry. How barmaids looked before the worst woke movement. Okay, first of all, look at that head. That is the worst fucking drink I've ever... Bruh. If barmaids... You call barmaids, you Dungeons and Dragons playing motherfucker. Barmaids. Oh, Piff, my favorite barmaid down at the local public house has been fired because she caught the pox. I'll have to find another public house to consume alcohol. Maidenless motherfucker. Barmaids. They're called bartenders, you fucking monk.
You got items on you, and I need
So this is how security guards are dressing now?
I don't...
This has to be in Philly.
You're not getting those items back there.
Look at this. Look at this shit. You don't need all of that. You don't need all of that shit.
You're gonna go to jail.
Touch me.
Look at his belly sticking up over his belt. Spend. You want to bought all this shit. Go buy a gym membership. Matter of fact, it's free to run around a track. I'm not body shaming. I'm not being ableist, but like if you're, and look at that little piece of tin. Honestly, he really thinks he's a fucking real live cop. Look at how his gut sticks out over.
They seen you on camera.
See me on camera doing what?
I have a job to do. It's not personal.
It is personal because you're accusing me of
They
stealing.
watch you on camera.
Is this dude white or light skinned? He gives major insecure light skin energy, to be honest.
Watch me on camera.
Look at it. I can't get over that gut.
You on camera.
Bring up the
He looks like Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons.
footage.
They're telling me right now that you have items.
This guy isn't even a cop. He's a security guard.
Footage.
They're telling me right now you have the items.
Bring up the footage, please.
So here's the deal, okay? I'm gonna work with you, okay? If you
There's
give me the
no
items,
working.
this
Don't
is
touch-
it.
This fucker's literally shaped like a beer barrel.
This is your only chance. This is your only
I
chance.
literally. Okay, let's go talk to the guy then. Don't tell me what to do. Who are you? Look at these people accusing me of stealing from
You're not walking away
CVS.
from me,
I
nope.
came here to get
Give me my
one
items, or
prescription.
you're gonna get...
I'm sorry. I couldn't.
Know what
I'm speechless.
the hell you're talking about?
This dude is gonna fuck around and get himself a whole fucking case.
What are you talking? So who here called the police on me? Because
Nobody.
apparently, okay.
Under anarchism, the police would be a volunteer system and it would function more like the fire department. Yeah, and I'm about to go to the bathroom and shit out sprinkles.
So they're saying you have items on you and I have to check you.
What items? I'm here literally for my Adderall prescription.
Here's what I need. Okay, we can make a big deal if you want to.
Make it a big deal.
For the camera.
It's either you're calling the police.
No, ma'am. That's not how.
Look at that. Oh my God. You don't need all of that stuff. You can't even pull your pants up all the way because your gut gets, bruh.
How it works. You don't get to make the rules. You don't dictate what happens here, okay? So here's what's going to happen, okay?
Whatever.
You're going to show me that you got nothing in your pocket.
I'm not showing you shit because I
Quit stalking that fucking girl around.
don't have anything.
What is wrong with you?
You're going to get
I literally got off from work from Amazon.
And that's just how it works.
You're
I'm sorry.
accusing me.
He reminds you of a security guard at a grocery store I worked at. Body slammed an old black lady, actively racist, and had posters of buff guys firing machine guns in his office. Was he a South African or Rhodesian immigrant?
Me.
Listen, I'm not
God
accusing
forbid.
you. They're accusing you, and I have a job
Who's
to do.
they?
My management, my superiors,
Bring
store
him down
manager.
here
Listen.
then. Show me the footage that
Here's
you
what-
guys
here's-
have
okay,
in this
here's what you need to do.
I literally
Here's
came
what you
in
need to
here
do.
for
Here's
my
your options.
prescription.
Here are your choices.
And you guys
Here
are
are your choices.
accusing
Here are
me
your
of
choices.
stealing.
Here are your choices. You need to show me that there's nothing in your pockets because they're saying.
This guy peaked in Fallujah. Like, this is an old, washed up Iraq war vet that he hasn't lived since he was kicking in doors in Fallujah and dragging 75-year-old men outside and shooting them in the fucking head. That's what he lives for. Like, if his knees hadn't went out, he would have been career military. Dude would have been a fucking hardcore Delta Force operator in his own head. But since he couldn't hack it being career military, he had to leave the Army or Marines. This guy exudes big Marine energy. He got kicked out of the Marines for eating too many crayons. He ate up everybody. He ate up his old fucking platoon's crayons. So now he's a fucking security guard in bumblefuck nowhere, and he's mad about it. So he's got all that shit on, and he really thinks that he's an operator.
That there's stuff in your pocket. Stop walking away. Stop walking away.
Or what?
You're going to get detained, and you're going to go to the ground.
And you're gonna get
It's
sued.
okay. Do what you gotta do. I got a job to do. Listen, do not
I
walk past
also
me.
have a job to do.
Listen.
Which
Nope.
includes
I need
leaving
my
this
items
store.
back. Listen, I need my items back.
I don't know what the hell.
He said, my items. I need my items. None of that shit belongs to you. None of that shit belongs to you. You could barely afford a studio apartment, but my items.
You're talking
Then show me
about
what's in your pockets.
my wallet.
No, I don't
And
care about your
even
wallet.
then,
They just
I don't
care
have
about
to
the
show
items
you.
that you took and that you put into
What
your
items?
pockets.
What
If the police come, they're going to arrest his stupid ass.
The items that they're saying that you took.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I
Okay.
literally
Well, I'm here
standed
to
in
just
line
clarify.
for like
You're
30
saying you didn't.
minutes.
You're saying you didn't. So let me give you the benefit of the doubt. So clarify, right? I'm just gonna look. You go ahead and you open it up yourself.
I'm not clarifying anything for you.
Yeah, you have to.
No, I don't.
That's how it works.
Oh my God. Welcome to America. I look at these people with an equal mixture of pity and disgust.
Why didn't the European just keep the Africans in Africa and mine the resources out of Africa?
They did. They took some of us for slaves to mine the resources over here, and they left many in Africa because, like, they did not conquer Africa until the 1800s, early 1900s. Some parts of Africa they never conquered, as the Italians learned to their sorrow in Ethiopia. But, like, what is the point you're trying to make, bro?
Why risk your life and your friend's life, who, you know, would happen to be another slave owner, and every slave was a stock, was a piece of stock that was worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we're talking 300 to 350 slaves on a ship. The voyage from West Africa to North.
I can't listen to this dumbass anymore. My fucking brain hurts. Video games cause violence. Based on the last game you played, what are you getting arrested for? I'm being arrested for being a feudal lord because I've been locked into CK3 for the past couple weeks. A member of the 369th Infantry Regiment holds a puppy that he saved from the trenches in 1918. Would. Honestly, would. The 369th was also known as the Harlem Hellfighters, by the way. Niggas be born in 1997. You do not listen to enough hip-hop to be questioning me. Yeah, the music rule is that you can only listen to music that was produced after you were born. New York City activists set up an autonomous zone for Palestine in Zuccotti Park, which is also known for being the same park where Occupy Wall Street popped off. Hopefully it doesn't collapse in an undisciplined heap like the original Occupy Wall Street does.
Yeah, I can see you. I can see. Are you on that? Are you on that?
Okay. The demands. Land day at Zuccotti. Lift the siege on Gaza. End the occupation in Palestine. Right of return for all Palestinians. Liberation for Palestine now. New York Police Department must redistribute funds to the community and dismantle SRG, plus the National Guard out of the Metropolitan Transit Authority. New York will not send any funds to Israel, and the federal government will end weapon sales plus the plans to construct a seaport in Gaza. Eric Adams, this is very poorly produced. This should have been proofwritten. Eric Adams will resign and is charged with sexual assault and negligence to New York City residents. The 400,000 plus empty buildings in New York City will be used to house migrants and houseless residents. New Yorkers will be given rent decreases and pauses as landlords and real estate companies are held accountable. All New York companies involved in genocides in Palestine, Congo, Sudan, and the Global South will be sanctioned and cease their crimes against humanity. No transphobia, no ableism, no anti-blackness, no homophobia, no sexism, no racism. Okay, so this looks like an anarchist thing. I don't see, like, there's no organizational teeth to this. Like, who put this together? Who called this? Who organized it? It may be grassroots Palestinians, in which case it deserves our whole support. But, yeah. Hopefully it's not a disorganized shit show and these people know what they're doing. Jackson Hinkle is an open white supremacist with provable Fed ties, but he is the rebranded postmodern 21st century kind. If you're cool with that because you want access to his audience, he doesn't even have a real audience. Like, once people find out what this dude's about, they dump him. And just say so, but quit fronting like the evidence on him doesn't stack to the sky. He literally called for the deportation of 2 Latina women. That should be enough for you to, like, not want to fuck with this dude. But some people are just opportunists. Jewish boy spotted wearing IDF outfit with a toy gun outside mosque in London. And then you have Tamir Rice, who was murdered on November 22nd, 2014 by Timothy Lohman while carrying a toy gun. Carlos and Haas talk Marxism. I would rather rip out my fucking eye. This man owns a Subway franchise. He broke down how much he made the first week after all his expenses. He took home $931.72. I hope he has that LLC. Everybody knows that once you get your LLC, you got to be a millionaire. Rest in power to little Bobby Hutton, one of the first members of the Black Panther Party, murdered by the Oakland Police Department. Eddie Liger is mad. Well, Eddie Liger is always mad. Honestly, I don't hate him as much as I do, like, the older people that should know better. Like, this is the kid's young, okay? Hopefully he'll grow out of this shit, but big hopefully, because once you're on the fucking grift train, it's hard to get off. And he's whining about Haas being doxxed. I mean, if I recall correctly, Haas doxed himself. Honestly, I don't give a fuck about any of these people. I don't know if J. Cole was ever conscious. He just never shot nobody and was kind of broke for a while. This is the block that Ulysses S. Grant, the Civil War general and president of the United States, lived in. This isn't his house, but this is the same block that he lived in. So when Grant was stumbling drunkenly down the street, this house was here. I'm glad it hasn't been, like, lit to just go to piss, because what a lot of people in St. Louis do is, like, they collect bricks and they sell them to other cities where they actually take care of their historic architecture. But this house has been rehabbed, so I'm glad it's being rehabbed and it's not just being allowed to rot. I'm a sucker for 19th century federal architecture. Hey, did you know that studies have consistently shown that the U.S. purposefully and knowingly gives low-income areas high-priced, low-quality fruits and vegetables? Yes, I did, actually. My grandma taught me this. She got 2 packs of ground beef, little packs of ground beef. She got one from the Hood store, the Hood grocery store, okay? That was in our neighborhood, okay? And she got another one from a grocery store, same chain, by the way, which was in Chesterfield. It's a very wealthy, upper middle class suburb of St. Louis. Well, exurb. It's like 45 minutes outside of the city center. But anyways, the ground beef, the hamburger from the Hood store, was like you busted that shit open, and it was gray in the middle. The hamburger meat, the ground beef from the county store, from the store that in the rich neighborhood, it was pink all the way through, like ground beef is supposed to be. So yeah, everybody knows that you don't buy food at those places in the hood unless you absolutely have to. And let's wrap up with this fucking joke. According to reporting from the New Republic, this difference came to a head most dramatically during a meeting between Kerry and Bibi Netanyahu in Jerusalem. With talks breaking down, Kerry desperately pleaded with Netanyahu to try to understand what life looks like from the Palestinian point of view. The Prime Minister responded by claiming that the conflict has nothing to do with the occupation and the settlements. It was an utterly baffling thing to say in the middle of talks over those exact issues. In response, Kerry delivered a last-ditch effort to get Netanyahu to see things differently, as well as a warning. Kerry said, "When I fought in Vietnam, I used to look at the faces of the local population and the looks they gave us. I'll never forget it. It gave me clarity that we saw the situation in completely different ways." Netanyahu interrupted him in the middle of this, screaming, "This isn't Vietnam! No one understands Israel but Israel. Stay in your lane." Kerry continued, "No one is saying it's Vietnam, but I've been coming here for 30 years, and I'm telling you, what's building up in the Palestinians has only gotten worse. I've seen it. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, it just is. It can't be solved if you can't see it how they see it." I'm going to go play Crusader Kings 3. My dynasty hasn't conquered the Iron Throne yet, but it will. Peace.